Okay, good evening, everyone. This is the Monday, September 15th, 2025 Fair TV regularly scheduled meeting. Um, we have almost a full commission tonight. Paula Kokoza, our vice president or vice chairman, will be delayed, but we do have a quorum with Lee, Suzanne, and Pete. Of course, our production manager, Luke, and it looks like um, three people from town aligned or registered with League of Women Voters, not registered with the League of Women Voters. Um, Great respect for your organization. My mother was involved for many years, so happy to have you regardless. But thanks for joining. Um, so we will get started here with the agenda for tonight's meeting. Just bear with me one moment. What I need to do, Luke, Lee, Pete, and Suzanne, is somehow in the calendar invite, it looks like Suzanne's information is still hanging out there, and even the name of the calendared meeting. Is that correct from your end as well? I just want to make sure I don't have like an outdated calendar invite.
Mm.
I don't know. I joined through the town website. I didn't really pay attention to.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Just, if you were ever doing it quickly or wanted to use the actual
Yeah,
invite.
it's my old one, so I
Yeah.
could change the.
Yeah. Well, I think we were I think the idea after all the trials and tribulations with Zoom was keeping yours around, Suzanne, just to make sure that Pete's was good to go, which by all accounts it is. And it seems that either Pete, you or Luke can host it, start it, what have you. So at that point, I think Suzanne's become somewhat mute or unnecessary.
Mhm.
So I will update that calendar invite to only reflect Pete's Zoom link. Pete, is that cool with you? Just making sure.
I think that that's fine. This works out well enough. I'm not usually using the Zoom account
Right.
this hour.
Yes, at this time. All right. Well, if you know in advance you are, all we have to do is change it for the agenda, obviously, and this meeting. But I think it's unnecessary to have a backup considering the unlikelihood of that happening.
Right.
Okay, great. Took a long time to arrive at what has been a very good conclusion here. And Suzanne, of course, thanks for letting us use your Zoom link because we've found that they're both much easier and more user-friendly than WebEx. So starting out, we're going to move things a little bit around to accommodate our friends from the League of Women's Voters, but I don't have a update. Paula's not on yet. Um, so at this point, we'll move to approve the 2025 minutes, sorry, the August 2025 meeting minutes. But Lee, you were not on, so Suzanne, you did them? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Okay. So do you want to just make that motion then, if that's okay
make the
with you?
motion to approve the meeting minutes. Yes.
Okay, I second that motion. So you could just all in favor say aye to approve the August 2025 Fair TV regular meeting minutes.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone else?
I don't think Lee was there.
No, I
Okay.
can't vote.
Okay.
I'll abstain.
Okay. Suzanne, just register your vote if you didn't already.
Aye.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Just better to have
Yeah.
it's just better to have everyone participating. So Lee, I obviously skipped over, a secretary's report just to get that agenda item out of the way. Do you want to is there anything from your
No, I have
vantage point?
nothing.
Okay. So um Luke, obviously this request just came in, um, from the League of Women Voters, fortuitous timing. Do you have other items you want to talk about that are not CAC related or other meeting requests related?
No, nothing else, nothing additional.
Okay, well, then I suggest we discuss, the League of Women Voters request that just came in, what, yesterday or today. In the very least, oh boy, I hope I get this right. Joan, Deirdre, and Linda. I got it. I'm sorry, I'm not even looking right now at the screen. So we can at least address this matter, and then obviously you are welcome to stay on for the duration of our call if you want to hear what else we talk about, or you can read about it in the minutes, or both. But we'll certainly address this now, just as accommodation for your time here, which is, it's, as I said, it's great to have you. Very rarely do people participate in these calls, even those who make requests. So it's nice. Luke, why don't, since you first flagged the request, you just summarize it, and then Joan, Linda, or Deirdre can add if there's anything we're missing.
Yeah, so in the past, we've covered some of their meetings. I know the request came in this afternoon about covering one on October 8th. I will say that we do have an existing meeting going on at the exact same time that will be live streamed. And, because we only have one government live stream channel, any additional meeting can't be live streamed, unfortunately.
Was this couple questions? Which meeting do we have on the 8th?
It's the inland wetlands meeting.
Okay. So that's on our regular roster.
Yeah, we cover them regularly.
Right. And was the request from, again, apologies for not looking at this simultaneously, is the request from League of Women Voters to also stream? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it's okay.
Yeah,
So,
so it's host it, stream it, and broadcast it.
so this is one of those times where you could say this is truly the definition of a bandwidth matter.
Yeah.
Pun intended. Okay. So I would put the question to,
I will say this though, the room that they chose, I'm not sure if it's verified yet, because which is odd because the meeting that we are covering is normally in that room that
oh,
that they chose. So I'm not sure if they confirmed the 8th in that location or it's just a temporary hold. But I know that all the other inland wetlands meetings, those are in that exact same room at Fire Training Center.
oh, interesting.
So I would have to follow up with them on that. But if it is that location, that is a Zoom room. So I guess one way, if we aren't able to cover it, they can, they could reach out to the town and they could set them up with a Zoom link, and they could do everything over Zoom. People could watch it live on Zoom, and then they get everything, all their meetings get recorded. And then, we could figure out posting or they could get the, file after the fact. That's
So
just, what was that?
how does that differ? That would just be a sort of a one-off, sort of in a way like this meeting, it's a non-WebEx town
Yeah.
connection.
Exactly. So like so every meeting that is out, so every meeting that we cover now essentially is over Zoom. So it's over Zoom. We take the feed and then we broadcast it out with the lower thirds and everything. So essentially, if they wanted to do it like that, well, if we can't cover it due to, like we said, bandwidth issues and staffing issues, they could still set up a Zoom room because that is a Zoom room. So they could set up a Zoom link. The public can join in via Zoom like they are now with us. And all the town Zoom room meetings get recorded automatically to the town's cloud. So that could be a kind of alternative if we're unable to cover it for some reason, like we discussed.
But what would be, for argument's sake, what would be the difference if, let's say, League of Women Voters was on the 7th or the 9th? Or
what do you mean as far as that? Like,
well, what are the drawbacks? I mean, it seems like you're we're talking about a couple different things here. If we can just do this by Zoom, um, but everything is done by Zoom. So what's the difference between,
It's the only difference is it won't be on YouTube Live.
oh,
Or-
YouTube
or-
Live, okay.
So so it could be on Zoom, but it won't
Okay.
be on YouTube or the Fair TV.
Got
cable
it,
channel.
got it.
You know what I
Okay,
mean? So like just like every other town meeting that is held
Yeah.
that we don't cover, they're
Right.
all on Zoom, so people can join in publicly.
Okay. Yes,
But they're not, there's no connection to Fair TV where
Got
there's
it, got it. Okay.
not on YouTube, not
And-
recorded after on YouTube.
the bigger question is, do we have bandwidth, do we have head count to resource this if it is at the same time?
That's another problem. So I would have to reach out and see if we, because obviously we have 2 staffers already on that meeting. I would have to see availability. But again, even if we potentially have the staffing, it still won't be live because
Yeah, I understand, but I mean, if we don't have the staffing, this is a moot point.
yeah.
But have you reached out yet, or you wanted to just get this?
I wanted to, yeah,
Okay.
I honestly, it's been a busy day, so I didn't get a chance
That's okay. Okay,
to reach out. And I also wanted to, kind of talk to you guys first and
sure.
maybe kind of get some more ideas of what's going on with the
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay.
Can
So-
I just ask, does the inland wetlands meeting have to be live?
I mean, they usually are.
But it's not required. They've asked for it to be live, or
So
is it
since
some-
I've started 2.5 years ago, it's always been live. In the brief layout that Jerry sent me of what meetings we covered, that's always been one that was live. I know it's not on the charter, but somehow he made an agreement with someone or something, and I've always covered them live. That's just how it was. So
but it's not sacrosanct.
it's what?
It's not
It's not a-
mandatory.
Yeah, it's not a chartered meeting. per
Right.
se.
It's not a chartered meeting. There's
No.
the catch up. So let's just cut to what I think is, one option here to Linda and team. The first question is, how important is it to you to have this live on YouTube / the Fair TV channel on Optimum versus just having a Zoom? Because that is the first question that has to be addressed. And Deirdre or Joan, you can answer if Linda's not
This
able.
is Linda.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We would like it recorded. I think if Zoom was our only choice, it's for a debate between the Republican and Democratic candidates for the Board of Ed and the Board of Finance. Now, we haven't got confirmation from the candidates that they are going to come. And we probably won't have that for a while. And that makes it our end a little bit inconclusive too. If only once, what happened last year was one of the parties decided
Yes.
not to take part at the relatively last minute within the week. And so we couldn't hold it. You can't have a debate without people who are on different sides. So we're just trying to get some fundamentals down, like the venue, and we talked to George Gamolo, and he offered us the 8th or the 9th, and we kind of chose the 8th. Now, can it be live on the 9th?
I would have to check to see if we have staffing, but as of now, there's no meetings on the 9th.
I mean, clearly that's a better option, because
For
then there's no-
that kind of a meeting, yeah.
Right. But we'd rather not pick and choose, and obviously we've been doing this. I mean, we obviously value the importance of what you guys do and holding a debate between candidates on commissions that we, cover and are obligated to cover. We understand, and yeah, we recall last year we went through a number of steps to be ready, and then there was that cancellation. So
Yes.
I think, I mean, we would all agree, I would imagine that if the 9th is an option, at least it well, a couple things need to happen. Luke, first and foremost, before anybody makes a request for a different date, I think you've got to figure out if the 8th is an option to get the extra resources, or if the 9th is just an option, period. The 9th being the preferred one, because then both meetings get televised, get aired live.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, personally, I would like a date first. Because I mean, I can't really reach out to these guys and say, well, you know, can you do the 7th, 8th, or 9th? You know what I mean? That's kind of, it'd be better to get a set date.
Yeah.
And tell them the time and the date, and this way they could check availability, you know, because unfortunately, I can't just say, oh, you guys, you know, free 7th, 8th, and 9th. I mean,
You're not asking for 3, you're just asking for.
We only want one evening. And we were offered the 8th or the 9th. We chose the 8th because Wednesdays we get better attendance on Wednesdays than we do on Thursdays in the past. So, you know, that was a consideration for us because we want as many people as possible to be present. So
yeah, the only thing is, I wonder if there's just a miss, if there's something amiss in the room that they're holding for you. We have scheduled to use for another meeting, unless that meeting is off. That's puzzling to me, and makes me think there's something amiss here. Luke, it would be great if you can, I mean, just ask the guys for the 8th or the 9th. I mean, they're going to be working likely, unless we should assume they're already doing the 8th.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. For staffing, we already have we had a full staff for that meeting.
Yeah.
So if we ended up just recording the other meeting, then I would just move them to the, you know, women's voters meeting, and then we just have to have someone else host it and record it.
So it's a twofold request. Can you see if that extra person, and we just hired somebody we have 2 people now who can serve as extras, right? Not as extras in cases like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't I, knowing how many hoops there are to jump through on Linda's side, I actually would prefer that we find out on our own end.
Okay. Yeah. Let me reach out now about the 8th.
Right.
And you said the meeting starts at 7:15, right? So.
yeah.
But Luke, really the ideal here is the 9th. So it's either you're getting extra people on the 8th, or you're asking your regular team if they can also work the 9th.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important, because I don't want to put us in position. I mean, I think we need to be consistent. If we've been televising, you know, something, sorry, I keep saying we're airing something live, and that's what we've been doing. You know, it would.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't like disrupting that. You know,
I will say there have been times where the inland wetlands has overlapped with, you know, say for instance, Board of Finance, or one that, you know, we're chartered to cover, and that's been recorded then.
All right. So look,
let me reach out about the 8th and see if we have the extra, because we would just need one extra guy to host, and then they would just record it.
But again, that's not ideal, because we would, if there's, why wouldn't we have it on YouTube live and Optimum if we could, by having it on the 9th? So I think you just need to find both options at the same time and report back to us.
Yeah.
Right, Linda? So
Yeah, no, I'm with you. You know, and I'd like to be as concrete as possible when we send our information out to the candidates. We want to be sure that everything is set when we invite them to something. So, but as soon as possible, because the closer we get to the election, the bigger their schedules the more complicated their schedules are going to become, and all too. So we'd appreciate anything you can do. I will talk with George, hopefully to George at the fire station tomorrow, and see that he has not given away the 9th.
Right. Right.
Which he may have done in the meantime too. So,
Or that the 8th is truly, in play, because you let him know that the inlands usually is, that we have scheduled the
Yeah,
inland.
he was checking his calendar when he talked to me on the phone,
Okay.
so he must
So I
have,
think we
you
should
know.
just do these things simultaneously to get the quickest answer. And I might have misspoke there. If you had a choice, you would prefer the 8th, even if that means that it couldn't be on YouTube, and we just, get the message out with a Zoom link.
Yeah.
And
Can I ask Deirdre and Joan to play in on that? Are you still there, guys?
Yes, this is Joan. I think, should the 8th not be available, I think my preference would be the 9th with the full capability of Fair TV.
Okay. Deirdre?
Yeah, I'm agreeable to the 9th as a second choice. I really appreciate you trying to consider this all and accommodate us.
Well,
And I don't know where the mix-up came as
Yeah,
far
it's
as our
okay.
dates.
Well, we're
Thank
trying.
you.
We're
Yep.
trying, and your timing is actually good, because when we don't have this meeting scheduled, that's when, in this case, typically, I mean, that's why, we ask for 30 days, because then it allows us to meet. But here we are, and we can, we've helped you in the past, and, it's a service to the town, so we would like to help.
We really do appreciate that, your willingness to work with us. And we're sorry about that mix-up with the date, but
Okay.
we truly felt that October 8th was available. We didn't realize there was a conflict with the inland wetlands.
All right. Well, maybe we'll learn more through your follow-up with George. Luke's gonna put the word out to our folks, and let's just say that we think we're planning on the 8th or the 9th, without getting into more particulars, with the intention that, we can. It's really just if there's a staffing shortage. So look for an answer from us, in the next day or two. But certainly, if you have any light to shed on, uh, if there is a mix-up, that plays into this as well. So I think if
Yeah.
we just both run for it, it's good.
Okay. Can I ask for exact clarification on this, so I'm doing the right thing? You're going to talk with George about the dates, or you want me to check that the dates are still clear? Who does the connection with George at this point?
I think you
At
you
the
think
fire
I think you should, because
Okay.
you already have been, and Luke is going to
Okay.
check with our staff to see who
Okay.
can do what.
Yeah, I
Okay,
just texted about the staff that's working on the 8th to see if they could do the 9th. And I also checked with the extra guy to see if he can do the 8th to just record inland wetlands if we were to cover it live on the 8th.
So we
Okay,
should know
great.
this hopefully, we might know this tomorrow, assuming, but I'd rather get all the answers, and not piecemeal it. So Linda, just get to George sooner, and we can dual path this and get it
Okay.
figured out.
Okay, I'll take care of that in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much.
You bet. We'll be in touch, with certainly an email, and, if we need to, reconvene, but my sense is, my hope is that we can just square this away.
Thank
That'd be
you.
great.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all. Okay. So Luke, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll see what they say.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I remember these requests, and they're obviously important, and help people become educated voters, which is always a challenge. So we can put that matter to bed for now. Luke, if you have an update while this call is running,
Yeah.
let us know. Especially as I think a couple of them are still maybe on the line here. So that brings us to, I think we were going to reference another request that came in, I believe, that we all I mean, we haven't formally decided, but I think, or I'm sorry, we did decide. What was the other request that came in that we were not able to accommodate given the turnaround?
Yeah, that was the 9/11 memorial
Right.
seminar that they held at fire training.
Yeah.
They
And
came in.
that was like a 24-hour turnaround or
Yeah,
something.
and unfortunately, I mean, with it was a 2 day long event, and the coverage was we just couldn't get the coverage in time, and we couldn't vote on it, so
Right.
we
Yeah.
couldn't cover that one.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, win some, lose some, right? Okay. Uh, moving on to new business. So Suzanne and Pete, just bring us up to speed here. There was another CAC meeting. It's not always a circle here to remember what they're doing because it seems like they don't always remember what they're doing. But well, how did this come about? They just made their votes and decisions and
I
sent us.
don't know how the money thing came about. That went through Luke. We had a meeting to talk about these scholarship applications,
Oh, that's right, which is
and it
irrelevant.
never happened.
Right. So Luke, I remember you contacting Marlene
Yeah,
about.
I honestly just emailed Marlene and I said, hey, we're just kind of checking in the funds. I know we got them around this time last year. We haven't heard any communication, or like you said, even at the meetings, it sounds like they haven't even mentioned it. So again, I think she mentioned that she was in the hospital or something, and that she'd get back to me when she gets out. And kind of that was it. And then all of a sudden, the check arrived, as it normally does, just randomly. But
in my name and what an
yeah,
honor.
yeah.
Nice.
That's what they
Yeah.
did last year too, didn't they?
Yeah, it's
It,
exactly
it,
what they
it,
did last
it
year.
arrives every year in my name to the town. Uh, and I've told them not to send mail to me first of all, I don't want the check. And I mean, I guess they want to put it in some person's name. They would be a lot better off putting a town official's name on it. But it's just crazy to put that kind of, a check in the mail like that. But it always does find its way into the account. It's just a little wonky. Um, but I mean, I guess this just underscores to me, and Suzanne, I don't think you were with us last year at this time. So forgive me if you were, I don't remember. But this is why I guess like every single meeting, I'm like anything new with CAC because this is the way this is the pattern of how and money is, how we are also funded. So it's like by just nipping and clawing at them and staying engaged, I feel like is the reason we're able to have this these extra funds for our budget, which has been very obviously helpful.
Yeah, they've been quiet.
Just very odd that that wasn't being discussed at all, and then the
I
check
think
appeared in the
I
mail.
I bet the mortgage that this is something that she just decided on her own.
Right.
That's how it happened last year. They pretty
Yeah.
much just decided, here's what we're gonna do, and it's easy just to keep doing the same thing.
Well, as we know from a town commission, we strenuously, do everything, not everything in our power. We just don't do that because it's not good governance. But I am not going to be the one to kick the gift horse in the mouth.
Mhm.
But
Luke, remind me that the amount that was received.
I think it was 22,500.
That sounds right.
I mean, just for everyone's clarity, I mean, this is while we've had these allotments, if you will, from CAC, which stands for Clarity Cable Advisory Commission. I think
Yeah.
anyway, it's been we're never clear on what and when it will be available to us. So I guess the next question, Luke, is this considered newfound money for the budget?
For this year, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's essentially it goes into it will go into a different fund, but we can use it this year.
What do you mean it will go into a different fund?
Like it doesn't like a few different like accounts that we have. So there's one count is like the general account, which we budget for. That's a totally separate account.
Right.
And then this goes into like a grant account. So then, basically town budget has nothing to do with this. And we have up until December to use it.
Just till December, which
Yeah.
is not long.
No.
That's 2 more meetings. And
Yeah.
last year we bought the TriCasters.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do we only have till December?
And that's just when the report is due. I'm sure, I don't know if we could kind of put a placeholder for some things, or it's kind of, again, it's kind of, the report is just as informative as the meetings, the CSC meetings. So it's just basically a form you have to put down what you spent it on, and then submit it to them, I think by end of December.
Is there anything, well, twofold, how are we doing on everything else? Do we have any overages that need to be addressed?
I think we're good on that. The only other thing is, I'm still waiting to hear about the surplus that we had this year and carrying that
Oh.
over into this year's budget. I think they vote on that tomorrow in tomorrow's meeting, so I should know more tomorrow. And that hopefully would cover the Frontier issue that we've had, the equipment upgrade for that.
So we did bank on that for this year's budget.
No,
We did not.
bank on what?
The surplus.
No, that just came out just because we had surplus at the end of the year.
Oh, to see if we could roll it over. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we're
Okay.
trying to see if we can roll it over into this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, I guess this all brings to question, and something I want to address before we sign off tonight. Our budgeting exercise is difficult because we've never had an issue. We've stayed always true to our budget and really very modest increases, if any, but we have to do these half blindfolded, right? In June, because there's these surpluses and then the CAC money, which you can't really depend on if it's one person's whim or
exactly, that's the thing. I mean, the first year when I started, I mean, I think we got like 6,000 from CAC, and then we ended up using more budget money for certain equipment upgrades. And then this year, last year we got 25 or 22, and then I think that's part of why we might have had a surplus, is because we spent money on stuff that we normally would have spent on the budget and whatnot. And then same thing with this year, is the same amount. So and then again, that's half of it, and the other half of it is, I mean, we have a set amount of meetings every year, but obviously, like there's some added, there's some removed and whatnot, so that's always changing. But I mean, we're pretty much, I mean, as long as we're under it, right? So we've been under the budget every year, so
Yeah. Okay. I mean, look, obviously think about, any upgrades that are needed and anything, longer term.
yeah.
But I do kind of balk a little bit at the notion that this has to be decided by December, because I think that puts us in a shoebox, like things come up, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
So can I point out something, which is that when they did this last year, they made it clear that they've decided that this money can also be used for payroll, to pay staff.
Mhm.
So I think you might want to check with the town attorney or somebody in town hall. But it almost makes the money fungible, because you can use that money for staffing, and money that was set aside for staffing can backfill into the 22,500, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you're just kicking the can, just pushing it forward.
No, you're not kitching the. Well, yeah, you're pushing forward, so you're not confined by the December 31st
Right.
deadline to decide what you want to do with the money. But again, I think you'd want to check with somebody to make sure that's.
Why would that be an issue? I mean, devil's advocate, we get extra funds in, like,
I don't know. I'm just.
So I did ask Marlene about that a little bit about using it for the freelancers and stuff. I did, because I remember we mentioned maybe doing like a bonus or something like that earlier in the year. So she said you can't use it for that, but you can use it for hours worked. But she said it can't be everything. It's only a partial amount because the town has to pay for their hour. It was kind of a roundabout way of answering me. So I mean, if we ended up going that route, I can ask more in depth. But it sounded like the CAC could only pay partial amount of hours worked, if that makes sense. Like,
No, but
yeah,
she's vamping on that. She's making that. I mean, that wasn't clarified last year, but anyway.
yeah, it didn't make sense to me what she said. I don't know. I mean, is she the only one that like kind of runs the show over there, or is there someone else that we could contact?
Keep in mind, this is not state money. This is money that comes from the cable companies.
Yeah.
It goes into a fund that the state distributes to the various CAC councils around the state. And as far as I know, I'd have to go back and look at the statute, but I don't think there's any stricture on what you can use the money for. She and the previous group in CAC just make up things as they go. But I don't know if they're binding other than she's saying it.
I totally agree with that. And to take it further, unless there's, I mean, a check is literally appearing in the mail that's not, despite our best intentions to be part of these votes and discussions, unless there's a letter attached to it, this is money that's coming to it. It's incredulous to think it can be used for hours, but not bonuses. And I also want to get out of the habit of just saying, well, there's extra money. Let's just, allocate this to a bonus, because I think to Lee's point, like if stuff comes up between now and, I don't know. I mean, we have a very unusual, just throwing this out there, but there's an election coming up that, nobody knew was going to be nobody knew until a few months ago would even be the case. So I think, we should, almost from a disciplined and, standpoint, not try to, allocate it, unless it's organic. And if we need it to sit there and be used for funds, payroll, and then there's something down the stretch that we want to do, that's great. And if it winds up being that we need to return money or we can't roll it over to the next year, then so be it. But I don't want to, I think where we sort of tie ourselves up is trying to figure out something in a very condensed amount of time. So Luke, if there's not something technical that's a clear need, above and beyond a nice to have, I would like to, just have it roll in. And, as long as we're clear with everyone of what it is and how it came, I think it's incumbent on others, if there's some stipulation, to tell us how we have to use it. But I agree with Luke.
I do have a few things that I'd like to use it for, but I mean, it wouldn't cover probably half of it, like for the CAC money. Like some things are like a couple new cameras that we use for like the remote shoots. Those are probably maybe like a few grand each. So I mean, that'd be like maybe 10 grand altogether. And then maybe some new laptops, as those are starting to age out, but we don't use those very often. So it's not a need, but it's, nice to have kind of thing.
Yeah.
But again, those are probably $1,000 each, so.
Right. All right. Well, why don't you just come forward with, give it some thought.
Yeah.
make sure it goes into the right account. But unless someone tells us, you know, puts a time crunch on it, and if that is the case, I'd like to know why. I mean, we're in the budget year, so it shouldn't be,
Yeah.
like you have to decide by December. We don't operate on a calendar year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the only other thing I want to say is like that I worry about is that if we use it for payroll, uh, is that I don't know how it works, but if the town was to come back and say, well, you get this, you use the grant money for the payroll, so you don't need budget for that, and then next year they get rid of the CAC, and now we're out because the budget got cut because we don't need it, kind of thing. You know.
I mean, I think we have to treat the CAC as we can never factor it in.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I'm worried that if we do factor it in and use it for payroll, which again I don't know how much percent or what it has to be, is that if we end up using that and then we have say 22,000 left over for after the budget, they'll say okay they don't need that 22,000 because they use the money from the CAC for payroll, and then next year if CAC
no, I think quite the opposite. I think I just think we would just, even if we couldn't roll this over, we still operate with the same budget, but we would just return money to the town.
yeah I guess you're right, yeah.
Do you follow?
Yeah,
Lee, Suzanne, Pete? I mean,
Well, I think Luke makes a fair point that you may set a precedent that you don't want to set, possibly.
I think the precedent, the way I see it is the precedent being sent is that we are being cornered into trying to figure out how to spend money that we may not either need overall or that we don't have a specific need for in a set amount of time. That's all. So, really the only thing we're talking about here, I mean, if we get to like March, for example, April, we can have this conversation again. But if we're told, use it or lose it by December, someone has to explain to me, as far as I'm concerned, why December. Because that I think has just been assumed or is some legacy view of Jerry's or something. I don't know.
that's on the. I could let me see if I
So,
can pull it up. That's on the website. Like the report shows it.
okay, well, if you want to, share it or let us know as we
Yeah,
keep
let me
going on
see.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
But all we're saying, what, it's on the website that we have to spend money by December?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. I
It,
mean,
it may, I'd have to go back and look at the law, but the statute, but it may be a requirement of the statute. I just don't remember. Because
okay.
you have to make a report to the state
Yeah.
of how the money was spent. And it may be the state has set the December 31st date. I just don't remember.
So
Okay.
this is. This is the one from last year. They haven't posted the one from this year yet. On the second page it says.
Why this is not open for me? Does anyone else see it?
What's that?
I thought we were all trying to look at this link that Luke sent.
I see it.
Okay. It's just
Sorry,
not
my
opening.
dog's really old and he just peed on the floor, so it's like,
Oh, sorry about that.
right? But I mean, this is not even up to date. It says it's,
Yeah, so that's last year. They haven't posted the one for this year yet.
All right. Just so we can move off this, Luke, why don't we, go ahead and make the inquiry. But I don't think we should just assume that, I mean, you're free to come up with some, ideas over the next couple months. I mean, we should discuss it in October because
Yeah,
in theory, then we would just have November to vote on it or, make a final decision.
yeah. So
But
I guess if we wanted to, I could find out that about if we did do personnel expenses, how much percentage or what. I mean, what we'd have
Okay.
to do. I mean, like I said, she didn't make it clear, so I'd have to get some more clarification.
Who's she?
Marlene.
I don't think you have to, Lee, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we have to hound her about this. You can't, Luke, this can't be, this can't be like made up on the fly.
but
Yeah.
did she approve what we did with it last year? I mean, it's just a
I don't.
check.
That's the thing. I don't know. You know what
I
I mean?
think
Like,
we just had
what
us approve.
I submit it, and then you never hear anything back about if
Right.
it was approved or denied or what.
Yeah.
It's just.
And they never talked about it in the meeting.
Yeah, I would be really leery of like trying to, you know, unless that and unless there's some letter attached to that check, which would also be a very awkward way to dole this out. Uh
And I can't really run out because it's a check. It's not like a budget, you know? So I don't know why the December thing would even hold.
that's a town thing,
So
right?
on here,
Well,
on
that's
that,
our town is January, that's their budget year?
no, July to July is the town, or July to end of June.
Yeah, so I feel like wouldn't we have till the end of June?
But honestly, I don't think that would even. I mean, I may be wrong, but I don't think that would even go into the actual budget year. I mean,
Right,
I would assume that this just keeps carrying over, right? I mean,
yeah, it's just a
gotta-
check.
I'm just wondering how beyond once they've cut that check and sent it so nicely to you, David. It, I think maybe somebody already asked this already, but like they don't. How much do they track what Fair TV spends their funding on?
I don't think they do. We've never talked
Yeah,
about it in the
so
meeting.
whether it's December or sometime in March or April or whenever it is for our budget year. How
that's
much
the thing.
really?
Yeah, and I'm just trying to encourage Luke to that end, not to, go looking for, trouble, so to speak, or some level of bureaucracy that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, the only thing I see on this form is it says, per CAC guidelines, applicants are not eligible for future grant until reports are previous grants are received by the CAC. So like, I don't, as long as you submit the last year's one, are you good? I mean, like if you submit that in June, I don't know how that works. Like,
I wouldn't worry about it. I'm not trying to sound flippant here, but I think, and Luke, I appreciate your due diligence, but I think we just, we're trying to do everything we can and go to these meetings and seek guidance, and we just don't get it. But we have been funded, and, I just say like there's a lot of things that Lee had identified that are not procedural about this process. And I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, or form to be part of that. But, we can just say, it says for part 3, please give us a general description of how you use the grant for labor expended. I mean, just, we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
now
Period.
so do you want me to use this for the next 3 months for to pay out the freelancers, or how does that work?
I would just put it in our, it's just in our account. No, I would just keep using our regular funding. I mean, we're not short funding, but I wouldn't use this until what I'm trying to just do is buy us time to make a decision here.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So just have it, it's in our account period. And I think we can decide much later in the year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I just heard back from Jeff and Chelsea, who are the two people that are working on the 8th. They said that they can do the 9th if that's the date that they choose. So
Okay. So why don't we just, I mean, it would just seem to me that why don't you just send an email back to Linda saying we have availability to do this on the 9th.
yeah,
If the 8th falls apart because inland's not happening, then sure. I mean, then we can just use our regular staff to cover that. But just let Linda know as soon as you can. And just copy the commission back, even though I wasn't sure you guys get the emails.
I got that. Yeah,
Oh, we do get it now. I'm sorry, because it's not but anyway, yeah. So that's good news.
yeah. So I'll send her an email.
Okay. Anything else before we move on?
For me, that's about it. I think.
Okay. I believe that was the only other thing on the agenda, new requests. So just again to repeat, you'll reply to Linda,
Yeah.
and you will
Do you want me to CC you guys?
sure.
Some of you.
Either just put everybody or it doesn't matter, Luke, and whatever is it. I mean, we're not making a decision here. We've already said that we can accommodate them on the 9th.
Yeah.
Lee, do you think we should just take a vote amongst ourselves, even though we've agreed to cover this in the past, that we're, going to try to accommodate barring, resources availability that, this League of Women Voters debate?
That's your call. I mean,
Okay. So all in favor, I'll make a motion to formally approve the request to cover the League of Women Voters at a date that works for our team's schedules. Ideally October 8th or 9th. But if we have this vote and they switch it to the 10th, for example, or whatever, and it works for everybody, namely Luke, the team, then we can do that too. But it sounds like it's hard getting everybody. So I make a motion to approve the League of Women Voters request for coverage or debate.
Second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So we're good to go, Luke. We obviously have the funds to do that.
Yeah.
We built that in anyway. The only other, does anybody have anything else? I have one other item.
No.
Okay. All right. Let me just get back to the agenda for one moment. The only other item that I wanted to bring up, and I decided to wait until we had a meeting, I'm going to step down from this commission. Just, it's been a number, I keep losing track of the years, but I want to say about 4 years. And I think it's in great shape, as we often say. And for no other reason than I just think it's, time to consider some other ways I can serve the town. So I'm going to step down, and I don't have I'm not opposed to doing one more meeting or something like that if there's something pressing, but if there's not, then that can happen as soon as as soon as tomorrow. But I want to make sure that there's smooth plan in place because mainly when I became commissioner, we were kind of stranded, Paula and me, and I don't want that to happen again. But we were also short bodies, and it was very different. It was pre-Luke and pre all of you, so. It's just, my intention is to do it in the next month.
Well, it's been
Okay.
nice working with you.
Yeah, nice
Oh,
working with you. Thanks for everything.
Yeah.
Sure. I hate saying goodbye, but I think it's never really goodbye as far as the town commission goes. But as long as there's still three people, there's no issue here. Just for the record, I'm considered unaffiliated, and I don't know if they've relaxed those rules. I mean, I am unaffiliated. That's fact. As far as a replacement goes. I personally, often thought that was a little onerous, but that might be the charter Lee that requires that. Um, but in the past when someone stepped down and it's impacted how we're structured, which in theory is the case when anybody steps down, the rest of the committee just has decided and taken votes as needed on who will fill what role. So, I hope and assume that would be an easy process.
Sort of caught us flat-footed.
Yeah, I didn't, I mean, I don't know how else to do it. I just figured I'd say it instead of some, clever little email. Um, so I intentionally did not set a date just because I just want to make sure there's a smooth transition. But candidly, I don't see a need to continue, for the next meeting. But if there's matters that, you think would be helpful, that everyone thinks would be helpful for me to weigh in on or whatever, I'm happy to do it. But that's it. I mean, I think, again, this is about as in-depth as we've gone on any meeting in the last year, which, and it hasn't been exactly difficult. The CAC is the main area to catch funding. I would say one thing we should do is transfer the calendar responsibility to somebody else, especially since this needs to be updated anyway. I don't think it matters who that is. I mean, whether that's you, Pete, because it's your Zoom, or Lee, or Suzanne, or Paula, it doesn't really matter. It's just a way to make sure that everybody knows when the meetings are. So, I can send you guys an email and somebody can just take over that part of it. Then there's the process of sending the agenda out at least 24 business hours before the meeting. So because we meet on Monday nights, wow, it's already 9:30, that has to go out on, by Friday at 4:30. And I tend not to think it's a great idea to send it on Friday at 4:25 because it has to be published on the site, and that often doesn't happen or happen in a timely way. So my theory is to try to get it out on Thursday nights with the right attachment. And then really the crux of it is, I don't work as much with Jen Carpenter anymore as I used to, but, I sort of have always worked through her on any, matters that require sort of town attention. She's incredibly helpful. And then when it comes time to, deal with budgeting, Jerry, I think, no, Jerry did it, was always with, the chairperson of the committee. But, that's something that certainly requires, I think is sort of a must-have to have somebody else in that, meeting with Luke in the town to go over a budget, which is once a year, maybe twice a year. They asked me to, I'm just reviewing my other responsibilities. They asked me to be present when Luke's contract comes up every year. And that's usually a few minute speech I give, or maybe 60 seconds worth on why we should continue working with Luke. a very easy matter to decide. But it is a formality and there is a contract that has to be issued so he can get paid in a timely, orderly way. So look, obviously I can put this, these responsibilities out in an email, but I don't think any of this is that difficult to assume. Okay. Wow, I either must have caught everyone flat-footed or you're ready for me to shut up, or maybe both. Um, so unless you guys want to talk about that, we can sign off for tonight. And
I just have a question. The commission would have to have a chair. Do you know if the chair has to be unaffiliated?
No, the chair definitely does not have to be unaffiliated. That I'm 100. When I was brought on, there were 4 people on it, 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and I was the 5th and the only unaffiliated person. So how it's internally organized does not matter. The question that I would have is, does another unaffiliated person have to replace me? And I kind of hope the answer to that is no, but it's not obviously my say.
Go back to the charter.
I saw when there were some openings on commissions in the last year that they were, at a certain point they realized like these are all volunteer roles and, it's best to have equal representation, but we're in the 4 years I've done this, there was never a truly political issue. And I do not count the televising of the trial as a political issue, even if it became that way. So somebody can, should just be in charge of running the next meeting again, unless you would like me to do it just for, but otherwise I was not planning to. You're muted, Lee.
Hmm?
You're muted.
I am.
Oh no, I thought I saw you talking.
I'm talking to myself. I don't even know how to respond to this because there's questions that have to be answered that none of us seem to be able to answer at the moment. At least it seems to be.
Well, in the past, when people left us, we've just continued on. Literally, we've just continued on. I mean, somebody just has to own the calendar for the next meeting. You've got to make sure 3 people are there. And then it's truly up to you guys. I mean, I think it's up to you guys, not up to me even, for a vote on how the succession looks. That's kind of the whole point, right? So I think that's the only part of this that has to be owned as far as an invite and running this meeting. Maybe you want to just mention it to Paula and see what she wants to do, because she obviously couldn't join us tonight. So
And you haven't told Paula.
I have not. I thought she would, I just thought it was easiest just to say it. And but I have told the town multiple times that I was planning on stepping down, and frankly, I extended way beyond what I thought that time frame would be.
Everybody, I'm sorry. I really have to go. I got to pick up my wife at the train
Yeah.
station. I don't want to
Oh,
leave her
geez.
standing there by herself 10 o'clock at
For
night.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry to hear that you're moving on. Just getting to know you and everything. I think you've
Yeah.
done a wonderful job running
Thanks.
running this commission as far as I can tell. I know I'm new to it, so just getting started. But everybody else,
Thanks.
we'll catch up next month and thank you. You guys, everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you, Pete.
See you, Pete.
Okay, so now we're down to 2 people, I think, just from a standpoint of practicality. But again, you can just mention to Paula, I really don't know what her plans were, and I don't want to speak for her. It's not fair. I know she's been doing it for a while. She and I were just reconfirmed for new terms a year ago, but that doesn't really mean it that much. I mean, the goal is always to have the same people, continuity. But I mean, look, we filled this. We've never had this level of participation in the 4 years I've had, where consistently everyone shows up. So
Yeah.
that's a good sign.
I'm sorry, I'm so lagged that I can't even think straight.
Okay, well, why don't we can just take some time to figure it out. And I say we because um, I'm not hard pressed to say I'm out tomorrow or the next week, but my preference and intention would be to wrap up in the next month, whether that includes the next meeting or not.
Right, right.
Is that fair
Yeah,
and
that's,
reasonable?
yeah, yes. Suzanne, do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, I understand wanting to stop, I guess, after doing it for so long. So I think it's just, we can figure out how to divide the calendar and the other responsibilities either off, by email or
Mm.
at the next meetings. We just need to place the link, which I think it'd be appropriate for Pete to do that with, this is his Zoom.
I actually think, David, if it
I
would be
do.
helpful, at least to me, if you send an email that said what the things that have to be taken care of, because
Okay.
I can't, I really can't focus. I'm barely staying awake as it is.
Okay. Oh, yes. I hope you've had a great vacation. I know you just got back, so
Yeah.
thanks for staying on for an hour and 15 minutes. Hopefully without me, you can have shorter meetings, but we do just meet once a month, and I think it's important to talk things through. Um, so I'll drop a note to you all, but there's not that much to do, and it's not daunting, and all of you can lead this very capably
Right.
and maybe make it better. And that would be great, and I might see you around because I'd love to do something else for the town, candidly, just, mix it up a little bit. So,
Yeah.
okay, so I'll make a motion to conclude tonight's meeting, and we'll reconvene in a month. Luke, we have some news to hear from you, and obviously we'll just move forward with, League of Women's Voters and getting some clarity on that. Not from CAC, but on the other matter of just that money just sitting in our account and the
Right.
rollover money that's on.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I make a motion to wrap up, conclude this meeting of Fair TV for September 15th.
I second the
All in
motion.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay. So you can